learning is a lot about yourself first, and then is about work, business.
4 or 5 golden rules if today somebody has to start a world-class business.
First is ask your question, why do you want to do that? I think in a world, acceleration matters, speed matters, time to crunch things matters. There's no shortcut. There are no shortcuts in business.
Patience and persistence.
Yeah, there's no shortcut. It takes while. We glorify people who are getting successful at any cost.
How do we build our brands?
First of all,
आज हमारी कॉन्वर्जेशन बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग पर्सन से हुई एंड यू वुड हैव हर्ड मी से दैट बहुत अच्छी कॉन्वर्जेशन हो रही है बट दिस वन was truly special. We had a conversation with a media veteran. Some people call him the media mogul. He doesn't like it, but he likes it temporarily. Is Dr. Annurag Batra. इस एपिसोड में we've spoken about 3 most important things. The journey of an entrepreneur. That there is no such thing as failure. Everything is a 2. What is the meaning of building your brand? What does building your brand mean in today's day and age? And why is it important to first create your own substance, be good at your craft, and then go about your outreach and brand building? And 3, it's coming from a super achiever, but in this race of achievement, don't forget to spend time with your family members. Go all in on your goals, but at the same time, spend and give your maximum love to your loved ones. Because you don't know when is going to be your last day. This is a business, a mindset, a spiritual conversation, and I'd really want you all to watch this. This is Beyond Billables. If you guys like us, if you guys love us, do subscribe and follow. And talk to you soon. Welcome to Beyond Billables, Anurag ji. Normally, I've seen that एक engineer finance में transition करता है. But आपके केस में आप B.Tech हैं and you venture into media and have now come on to become a media mogul. But ये journey शुरू कैसे हुई आपकी?
देखिए पहली बात तो मैं टैग्स में बिलीव ही नहीं करता. अच्छे लगते हैं सबको, एटलीस्ट टेम्परेरीली, एटलीस्ट. तो आई एम अ हिंदू, आई गो टू टेम्पल, आई बिलीव इन प्री ऑर्डेनमेंट, प्रारब्ध. कहीं प्रारब्ध होगा इसलिए हुआ. बट लेट मी गिव यू समथिंग दैट आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड. प्रारब्ध इज बियॉन्ड मी, राइट? इट्स लाइक preordainment is like beyond me. First of all, beyond billable, you're a lawyer. I think I have to tell you a funny story, right? And
Yeah.
I early in my life, a big lawyer who I met very close to this place where we're recording, he became a friend of mine. Then he was doing a training in Nimrana, and he took me. They talked to my executives. I just like the way you connect with people. It's good for business development. So I went, and then I joined a company which was his client once, and we were setting up a new business. It was a software solutions company, and the MD was his client, and then he became my friend, and he hired me. So I would call this lawyer, who was still the company's lawyer, and I would chat with him about various things related to the company.
Yeah, I understand.
And then one day, about 2-3 months later, my boss, Mr. Kang, called me and he asked me, "So have you been taking legal advice?" So, no. No, you have been. So he produced some bills. So everywhere I was talking to my friend, who is still my friend, because I was consulting with him. I mean, I was informally calling him to ask him, if we did this in this jurisdiction, will we have to repatriate the money, blah, 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 blah. What is the best way to set up this new business? But of course, that was legal advice in his view, because he was the retained lawyer of the company, and he was billing me. So I'm not sure there's life beyond billables, but let's figure out. He's a big lawyer, so I won't give you his name. And, used to be my father-in-law's tenant. But good, you started this life. Life is beyond money and beyond billables. That's for sure.
तो अब आपकी ये जर्नी कैसे स्टार्ट हुई?
देखिए, स्टार्ट तो ऐसा हुई कि आई ग्रू अप इन अ मिडिल क्लास फैमिली इन ओल्ड गुड़गांव. माय पेरेंट्स वुड गेट लॉट्स ऑफ न्यूज़पेपर्स, लॉट्स ऑफ मैगजीन्स. संडे, धर्मयुग, दिनमान, चंपक, नंदन, And I can go on maybe 30,
Hmm.
40. So today also I spent so much money on magazines, books. In fact, I told myself yesterday I will not buy new books. Because I buy books, I don't read all of them.
Hmm.
So I used to consume a lot. I went to a BTech मैंने beer drinking में की है. वैसे computer science में की है मतलब. So I grew up in a very middle class family, very, very black and white, very disciplined, very sharif. So when I went to the hostel, I got a little, let's say,
Exposure.
I got too much of freedom, and sometimes I didn't use it really well, or I used it really well, whichever way you want to look at it. I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke. But yes, in those days I did. And I'm very anti-smoking and anti-drinking. I've done my bit of it. And, so, I went to an engineering school. I went to a business school. From the business school, I got a campus job in Mastech. I didn't join it. Then I joined a real estate services firm. I was part of the setup team of that term. And then, funny enough, where we are recording this podcast, my office used to be there. So I used to work for a company called AMF Bowling. Deep Kalra used to be CEO. They used to be a client of mine in the real estate firm. And then I was helping them look for bowling centers. And they had selected Savitri Cinema, which is not very far from here, to be a bowling center, 16 lakh rupees a month. Lease. A friend of mine has done the deal. He unfortunately passed away this year. He would have been 70 on 1st Jan. He was one of the first few people I met when I came to Delhi. So I used to work for Deep, AMF Bowling, and then AMF Bowling shut. So I got a job with HTA. And that's where the idea of setting up an B2B marketplace came, where buying and selling of advertising time and space would happen. Like a Commerce One, Ariba, like a marketplace, a business to business. So me and a batchmate of mine from MDI, we both used to work at HTA, and I was the head of outdoor. I mean, I was not the MD and CEO. My boss, Sunandan, and friend, Sunandan's close friend, was the CEO, and he hired me as a business head. And there was another colleague who's a very close friend of mine, Gaur Gupta. We used to work together, and I didn't know anything about outdoor. So that's where me and my friend thought of an idea of building a marketplace where you could come and buy advertising time and space, a newspaper ad, a magazine ad, an OOH, cinema. Digital was nascent then. And that was the idea. So we raised some angel money over one conversation. And we tried to build a B2B marketplace. We were young. I was 28. My two other co-founders, one was 27, the other was 25. And I quit my job full time to build that. They joined me a little later. And we ran out of money in the first 3.5 years. It was not happening. And then we had started a newsletter to kind of build our own brand in the media services, advertising market. It was called Exchange for Media's newsletter. We used to break every story then. And with all humility in the last 21 and a half years of the current business model, first 3.5 years old, with all humility, we are the homepage of everybody in advertising, marketing, media.
Absolutely.
And that's how it happened. So it happened serendipitously. Since you love books, you've written a book, it's always good to plug your book, and I love books and authors there. So I read this book 7 months back called Fluke. And Urdu में तुक्का, right? और हिंदी आप कह सकते हैं कि प्रारब्ध है या माँ बाप का आशीर्वाद है, और luck, chance, serendipity. I love the word serendipity. Two of my most favorite, 3 words: serendipity, believe, and abundance. They're my 3 favorite words. And I really believe I'm a product of that. So, it became the number 1 website within the first 1 year. There used to be another site at that time. It started at the same time. And we quickly went past it. And we never looked back. And then we built, because we were a business community of advertising, marketing, media. We started a narrow media planning buying agency homepage. Anything on media planning buying first on our site. Then we brought advertising, then media, then marketing. And over the last 10 years, we realized that the power of balance in our business is towards marketers. Today, they take all the calls, while they are the media agency, the digital agency, the OPR agency. So we became a brand homepage of everybody who buys advertising. And then we become an ecosystem player. We have 75 marquee IPs, event IPs, and we continue to be in the play. And then 11.5 years back, BusinessWorld was up for sale, and I made a call. Yesterday, I went to my friend's son's wedding, who told me about it and helped me raise capital. And then, that's how I came into the media. So it's not planned. It's certainly not scripted. It's certainly not planned. Anything that has happened. I have met you through Serendipity.
Yeah.
And I say no to working day to sit down to do a podcast out of question. I haven't done it. Right.
मैं आपसे बस एक सवाल पूछना चाह रहा था, which is that when you were working, आपको idea तो आ गया to do outdoor, to have this advertisement, time and space for all business houses. Courage कैसे आई?
Courage क्या नहीं, इसमें भी बैक स्टोरी है यार रोहन। ऐसा मेरे माँ बाप मिडिल क्लास, दोनों एकेडमिशियंस, दोनों नौकरी पेशा लोग। तो जब मेरी पहली जॉब लगी, उसके 2 साल बाद मेरा एक रूममेट है बालाकृष्णा MDI का, वेरी क्लोज फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, ही वाज माय रूममेट इन द सेकंड ईयर। फर्स्ट ईयर आल्सो देयर वाज अ रूममेट हु वाज आल्सो साउथ इंडियन, उसका नाम रामाडेसिकन है। और कल मैं अपने बैचमेट से मिला तो मैं सबकी टांग खींच रहा था रामाडेसिकन पे। और मैं बिकॉज इंजीनियरिंग से आया, इंजीनियरिंग में पढ़ाई नहीं की मैंने, मेरे माँ बाप के आशीर्वाद से मेरा MDI में हुआ। मेरे पापा मेरा फॉर्म लेके आए, नहीं तो मेरा होता नहीं। और MDI में फर्स्ट ईयर में कैट नहीं था, तो बहुत कम लोगों ने अप्लाई किया था, इसलिए मेरा हो गया। इसलिए आई ऑलवेज से इट इज ऑलवेज बेटर टू बी लकी देन स्मार्ट। तो आई ऑल्सो फील दैट द हार्डर यू वर्क द लकियर यू गेट। बट राइट, माय फादर, इफ ही hadn't brought the form for me, I wouldn't be where I am. I mean, I owe everything to my parents. We all owe everything to our parents.
Totally agree.
But the fact is, I had not studied in engineering. So जब मैं MDI में गया तो मैंने पहले ही स्ट्रेटेजिकली अपने माइंड में बोला कि मैं जिसका वर्क एक्सपीरियंस होगा और जो साउथ इंडियन होगा, साउथ इंडियन पढ़ते लिखते हैं, वो मेरा व्यूल चेंज हो गया है वैसे लेकिन तब मेरा था
तो साउथ इंडियन,
नो ऐसा नहीं है, यू कांट स्टीरियोटाइप, आई विल नॉट स्टीरियोटाइप एनीवन, बट ऐसा नहीं है, मतलब I mean, when I go to Hyderabad, I think there are more Punjabi than Punjabis, and that I have no qualm saying in every way, right? Good and bad, okay?
Yeah, very true.
But I took so Bala one day called me 2-3 years into the job, 3 years into the job, and he said, I'm starting a venture, will you be my partner? I said, okay. Then I went to my parents. I used to work for HTA. So just 1 year before I started Exchange for Media. So they said, okay, but क्या करेगा? So I explained to them, we're building this services play.
और monthly पैसा आएगा?
So उन्होंने पूछा कि तनख्वाह कितनी मिलेगी? तो मैंने तनख्वाह नहीं मिलेगी, तो क्या मिलेगा? मैंने बोला इक्विटी। तो बोले इक्विटी क्या होती है? तो समझाया, तो उन्होंने बोला नहीं नौकरी नहीं छोड़नी, नहीं छोड़ी। फिर बाला की हो गई फंडिंग। तो उस दिन मैं घर आया तो मैंने मम्मी पापा को थोड़ा गुस्से में बोला कि आपने मुझे, आई वाज 27, आपने मुझे जाने नहीं दिया, 27.5, देखो उसने कितने पैसे रेज कर लिए। सो देयर वाज अ बैक स्टोरी दैट आई हैड मिस्ड वन अपॉर्चुनिटी, तो दिस टाइम आई सेड बॉस छोड़ने का नहीं,
I have to do it.
आई हैव टू डू इट। एंड मेरे को अपनी करंट जॉब में मजा नहीं आ रहा था। द ओनली जॉब वेयर आई हैव नॉट रियली कंट्रीब्यूटेड इन माय व्यू, माय बॉसेस मे हैव डिफरेंट व्यू, आई डोंट थिंक वेरी डिफरेंट, बट वॉज द पोर्टलैंड HTA जॉब, बिकॉज मेरे को समझ ही नहीं आता था आउटडोर, और मुझे अजीब सा लगता था। उसमें एक मजेदार कहानी है कि कई आउटडोर एजेंसीज के थ्रू हम सब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते थे, तो वो एक होर्डिंग दिन में किसी और ब्रांड का लगाते थे शाम को। तो मैं बोलता था ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? तो मेरे को याद है एशियन गेम्स विलेज में मारुति का होर्डिंग लगा हुआ था और नेशनल ज्योग्राफी का, तो मॉर्निंग में मारुति का, शाम को नेशनल ज्योग्राफी का। मैंने एक दिन ये चेक किया, फोटो ली, टाइम, तब भी वेंडर नहीं मानते थे। तो बिजनेस में कैसे लोगों से डील कर रहे हैं यार, तो उसमें मुझे मजा नहीं आता था, तो मजा आ नहीं रहा था। ये कोशिश की, ये हो गया।
But why not change another job?
ये मुझे नहीं पता, मुझे इसका वाई का नहीं पता, मतलब इतना ज्यादा सोचा नहीं यार, सच्ची बात है। हाँ, हरियाणा से हूँ मैं, सोचते कम है हम।
ये भी अच्छी चीज है।
I honestly, you can look back at your life, see, life is a small incidents that come together. You're taking decisions every day, every moment. Sometimes you take a rational decision, sometimes you take a irrational. That time we don't have too many choices also.
Correct.
So it just happened. I don't know. I mean, God knows, but this is what happened, and things moved on.
And it's worked out so well.
Your life is always work in progress, Rohan. And I'm grateful. I mean, I'm very grateful. I thank God every night before I sleep, and my parents, and to some extent my wife, because she's been a very integral part of my journey. And my kids have grown up. My wife has spent all the time with them. And being a first generation entrepreneur is not easy. You really have to put in the hours. I mean, I had work-life balance, but in the first 10-15 years, there wasn't any. So, my parents, my wife, and definitely I am a believer in God. So, everything happens because of that. So, it's okay.
Yeah. So let's fast forward to the acquisition of BusinessWorld. You were telling me your friend gave you the idea.
No, one day on 4th September 2011, he just called me. 2013, he called me and said it's up for sale. And there's a backstory to this also. I helped Network 18 in 2010 get the Forbes license. So my friend knew of the ambition because Fortune was with India Today, and then the CEO of India Today recommended, because they couldn't take Forbes, so he recommended me, saying, why don't you partner with Annurag? But when I met the Forbes guys, and I was like 37 and a half, I realized they want to partner with a very big guy, like billionaires. Because in every country they had a billionaire partner, right?
Yeah.
So I realized that I'm not the right fit, and I said, okay, I'll give it to the next best guy. So I introduced them to Raghav Bell, who had just set up Network 18. Raghav had a CEO called Haresh and a CEO called Sai. Sai is very close, and he moved forward. And so my friend knew that I had done this, and I had an ambition, B2B, number one in advertising. And I actually consume a lot of business content. Not today, from the age of maybe 8, 10. So I made a call to the ABP guys. They met me. Within 6 days, we'd done 2 meetings and closed the deal.
Wow. And what was the situation of the business like?
It was a tremendously loss-making business. That's why they were selling. And some people thought I'm crazy. But it hasn't been easy. Let me also tell you this, that like people glamorize, it's like picture perfect. It's not been easy. Nothing's easy, and I'm still work in progress. I'll leave it at that.
So from that point of time till now, what's been the journey like?
It is lots of learnings. As you grow, anyway, you learn. If I didn't do this, I would have learned something. I stopped running E4M day to day. My co-founder Naval runs it for last almost 11 and a half, 12 years. I'm full-time on BW. So the learning is a lot about yourself first. And then is about work, business. One learning I'll tell you, Rohan. I went to a business school, that to MDI, and we have very good professors. I will not get into ranking of business schools. Right? But I can tell you, MDI had the best professors in every domain. And I have some appreciation of all these things now because of what I do. Second to none. So we had OBOD, which is organizational behavior, organizing. And I always used to say, change bullshit. Just kaam karna. If I want to show up with Rohan, I'll show up. My first company I built from scratch. So culture was very different. The biggest issue in any acquisition is culture. Changing that culture takes lots of effort, time and money. That's what I realized. I mean, I heard that thing that culture eats strategy for breakfast and all that. But it doesn't kind of sink in till you really know. Mortality I haven't understood till last year. My mother passed away, and I now kind of feel mortality. I know. In fact, I'm very careful about my time, much more careful than I was. I still need to be. I want to spend more time with my wife and kids, with my father, with my children, So similarly, till the time you don't experience something, it's theory. You cannot be empathetic. I mean, you may be a very empathetic person, but you really, if you don't know the taste of,
understand in your
you
body.
don't, you can't understand. It's like swimming. You can't driving. You only know by doing. So the biggest thing that I learned in that is that culture change is real. If I had to tell you one thing, if I ever did a big acquisition, I'd think about the culture a lot more than the balance sheet.
And how would you create a new culture?
You have to change people. Either there has to be a disincentive not to change, or an incentive to change, or bring a new set of people. With the same set of people, it takes too much effort. Which I realized after 3-4 years of being in it. And I made mistakes, Never do any business with less capital. Take 3 times the capital what you think you need. I have had, and these are like, I don't believe in cliches. I read all the books. I see all the. I'm not giving you theory. It may sound like theory, but it's all first hand.
If you were to go back in time, just for BusinessWorld, how would you approach the acquisition differently?
With much more, I would raise much more money at the start. Much more money. At one go. So in a business, you have to put money at one go, not in pieces. It doesn't work out.
To get that speed.
To get that momentum to clean up immediately, to think long term from the day one. If your focus is only how will you break even, then it'll be a different kind of business.
So, because we're talking about setting up a business and entrepreneurship, 4 or 5 golden rules if today somebody has to start a world class business, something which has meaning and impact in India.
First is ask your question, why do you want to do that? Do you have in it to last long in that? And last long is not in money, mentally. Building a business takes everything out
When you
of
say
you.
mentally, stamina.
Stamina and resilience, doggedness. Because business is not easy. It's not, nothing is easy. We look at success of entrepreneurs, we don't look at what they sacrificed in terms of family life, in terms of emotions that they went through. So these are first, why am I doing this business? Do I have it? Third is capital. You have to start with the best people. Best people come where you have a long-term view, capital. I think that's the most important. Quality of investor. I mean, some people say, do it frugally before you proof of concept. I think in the world, acceleration matters. Speed matters. Time to crunch things matters. So, I mean, there's no right, wrong, depends on why. If it's a lifestyle business, different. If you want to build a business which is institutional, which is long-term, which is scalable, which has governance, then you need capital. And have a technology co-founder. Somebody who understands technology deeply, or give them ESOPs, or, long-term. This is what I believe about any business. I'm 53 and a half now. If I did any business, I'd look at it like this. In fact, this year I made a term sheet, gave a term sheet for another media business, which I couldn't acquire. They sold it to somebody else for more money. So they shook hands with me, and they're my friends for 25 years. That's what they did to me. But that's okay. I'm sure it's maybe kuch acha hai. I didn't like it for 4 or 5 days. I was pretty upset. This happened 10 days back. Another business where I made a term sheet and I did not follow through because I thought I'm paying more money. And I have to raise money for both the businesses before I do anything. Yeah. So still, I have to. But I didn't do it because I told myself only when I have lots of money will I do that business. Can't tell you what that business is, but it's a content business, okay? And it transforms lives, So I said I will do it with like 100, 200 crores. I will not do it with 10 crores, 5 crores, 2 crores. Which was my mindset. I started a media school 18 years back. 5 years I ran it. My partner was Atul Maheshwari of Amar Ujala. अतुल जी का एक दिन देहांत हो गया, हमने उसको बंद कर दिया. आज होते तो इंडिया का नंबर 1 मीडिया स्कूल होता. रूबिका लियाकत भी मेरे स्कूल से. तो कैपिटल बहुत बड़ा है. My wife started India's first fashion website, stylecandy.com. We shut it down. एक तुम्हारा lifestyle late night वाला नहीं है. Plus again it's about capital. लेकिन अभी मैं लॉजिक नहीं लगाता हूँ. भगवान पे कुछ अच्छा होता है तो भी वो नहीं अच्छा होता तो भी बोलता हूँ भगवान ने नहीं किया. मैं अपने पे कम डालता हूँ. So you ask me the rules. One, ask why you're in this business. What is it that you want to achieve? Have lots of capital. Have right co-founders, especially in tech. And last but not the least, know that it will take time. There's no shortcut. There are no shortcuts in business.
Patience and persistence.
Yeah, there's no shortcut. It takes a while. I mean, we hear stories like Zepto, young guys doing this. Dipinder Goyal, now $35 billion market cap. But यार 1000 वैसे जिनका नहीं हुआ वो तो नहीं देखते ना. और एक जो आधे रास्ते तक पहुंच गए थे फिर बंद हो गई उनकी कंपनियां, वो तो नहीं देखते ना. If anybody fails, you'll call them on your podcast. You'll not. I want to do a failure podcast. But क्या हिंदुस्तान में we look down on failure. मैं podcast नहीं देखता हूँ, but मैंने एक एक्टर की मदर ने, मेरे को याद नहीं किस एक्टर ने बोला, उसकी मदर ने बोला कि we shouldn't look down on people who are not successful yet. In whatever way you look at people. And success की definition क्या है? तो क्या अभी सच्ची बात ऐसी हो गई रोहन, we look down on people who don't have enough money or too simple. We glorify people who are getting successful at any cost. Whether they're political people, business people. Like a lot of people say Elon Musk he's a great guy.
Yeah.
His achievements in work are outstanding. But is that the kind of role model you want to have in life? From personal life and the kind of empathy he has for people,
Yeah.
right?
So definition of success
Is
आपकी
it?
क्या है? That also
तो
matters.
बैलेंस चाहिए वहाँ. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि मटीरियल लाइफ चीज़ें इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, बट स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी मे बी अभी मैं 53 का हो गया हूँ और मेरी मदर की डेथ हुई है. आई हैव गॉन थ्रू मेनी एक्सपीरियंसेस. मैं ऐसी बातें सोचता हूँ, बट मैं शायद 10 साल पहले भी इतना नहीं तो पहले भी ऐसा
थोड़ा सा तो सोच.
और जैसी अपब्रिंगिंग होती है उस पर भी फर्क पड़ता है.
I remember hearing your interview 5 years back, courtesy Ayush, that there is no failure, there is just experience in life.
Yeah, so I love books. I'm not exaggerating. I buy more books than I know. I'm not sure I read more books, but I definitely buy. So I read this book 8-10 years back. I watched this podcast. I watched this YouTube. I haven't watched any podcasts except mine and my son's. I haven't watched any podcast.
This could be
the
third one.
I have watched the ones that have been a little bit. And it's not because I don't want to. I don't have the time. I'm working. I would love to. Like I told myself, I want to watch Tim Ferriss' podcast.
That's very good.
That's like, I know because I read his books. So I read this book called The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. And he said it. So it's not original. He said experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. And in India, we don't succeed. I mean, we succeed. One great thing Modi is doing is thinking big. And I'm not going to go into politics.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing a lot of things right. But one thing is, he thinks ahead, he thinks big, he thinks on scale. And that is reflected in the ambitions of Indian entrepreneurs. Today, when they're starting companies, they're thinking going global in the first 3-5 years. Their ambition is big. It's about the success of India. Which
is like standard in Silicon Valley. Like
yeah, they think like, so, but it won't happen this way 10 years back. So, in India, I have 2 children. I've never heard myself or my wife tell my children, you can fail.
It's a learning.
Study.
It's a learning.
No, we don't. I'm very traditionally conditioned, both family terms and education terms. So, I mean, I've started a podcast called The Dropout. And I was joking with the 2 first guests that I want my podcast to be so successful that people should drop out of college to be on it. I mean, but I really want people to drop out? I don't know.
No.
I really don't want. I put a value on education, and education not just in terms of degree, in going to the campus, peer learning. So, India mein failure is a very bad term. Project fail hota hai, idea fail hota hai, banda thoda fail hota hai.
Well said.
You can always start fresh. It's very difficult. It's not easy. And I hope no one has to do it again in anything personal.
But life में फिर भी होता ही है.
होता है, बहुत चीज़ों में होता है, कोई बात नहीं. लगे रहो, never give up.
थोड़ा मीडिया के बारे में बात करें, since your focus is there. For someone who wants to understand new age media today, what is it all about?
देखो, बहुत सिंपल टर्म्स में, I read your question. बहुत सिंपल टर्म्स में मीडिया क्या है? कंटेंट और ऑडियंस. यही तो है ना. मुझे बोलता है मैगजीन के बिजनेस में, मैगजीन के बिजनेस में हुई नहीं. जब मैंने एक्सचेंज फॉर मीडिया स्टार्ट किया, मैंने जेन्युइनली अपना बिजनेस कभी डिफाइन नहीं किया कि मैं वेबसाइट के बिजनेस में हूँ. आई एम इन द बिजनेस ऑफ बिल्डिंग बिजनेस टू कंज्यूमर एंड बिजनेस टू बिजनेस कम्युनिटीज. जैसे आपके पापा बोलते होंगे कि हमारी बरादरी है. दिस इज माई कम्युनिटी. I mean, I heard that term from my dad when I was 8-10 years old. So, I built that. I'm in the business of brand and content. Now, the content can be in video format, text format. And today there are AI tools you can create in one and it can be. So, I'm in that business. It's content and audiences. Everything doesn't matter.
Everything.
Let's take the Kamaths have built Zerodha. They've been the 01. अब वो media business में है कि वो financial services के business में, मुझे ये बता दो. ठीक है? I mean, this business hasn't worked out. Sad, Darpan's good glam business, but he bought these media businesses because he said my cost of acquisition will come down and I will build communities and I'll sell through. It hasn't, but it's the right concept.
Yeah.
Right? Net-a-Porter 25 years back built a content because content is a glue for commerce. Today we are talking of content commerce, video commerce, social commerce.
थोड़ा explain करेंगे content is glue for commerce.
नहीं, क्या होता है आज आपने देखा कि पिक्चर आ रही है 2023 में एक पिक्चर आई रॉकी और रानी की प्रेम कहानी, यही नाम था, ऐसे कुछ था. तो उसमें अगर आपको एक्ट्रेस का कॉस्ट्यूम पसंद आया, यू कुड बाय इट देयर एंड देन, राइट? व्हेन यू आर वाचिंग क्रिकेट, यू बाय पिज्जा और कोक और व्हाटएवर यू ड्रिंक, राइट? You order food, you order memorabilia if you're watching soccer. like I watch this show by Fareed Zakaria called GPS on CNN,
Yeah.
and any book he recommends, I buy. I mean, I've been doing that for 10 years. So today, genuinely, because everything is available on a click in the era of quick commerce. So content, we are building content and audiences
For
So-
that content.
for that content. And that's a media business. That's why a influencer is a media business. जिसके 5 million हो कई मीडिया वालों से तो बड़ा ही है ना.
बहुतों से बड़ा है.
हाँ ठीक है. So edutech क्या है? Content and somebody paying for the content. अब उसको you can call it SaaS. But and you know somebody's paying for content. You know that's the business I'm in. Can we over a period of time build our content so strong and unique that we charge for the unique content? Because most models in India are advertiser-led models or advertising-led models. So I mean, let's look at Oracle. Oracle is a technology company. There's no question. It makes product. It built an RDBMS so they got into cloud 15, 18 years back as a service. Then they got into cloud as a platform. Today they've got into cloud as a infrastructure layer.
Data centers.
Right? So from service to platform to infrastructure. Now, can we have a similar thinking in media? Right? So it requires capital.
And tech and expertise.
Yes, tech. So yesterday, I got a deck from someone day before yesterday in media tech saying he wants me to be a part of this. And it's not for money. It's because of who I am and my expertise or my sphere of influence or relationships, he thinks. So and then I discussed it with somebody The thing is, they want to build a world class. Their idea is absolutely great. But the kind of tech available in Silicon Valley is a little different than the kind of tech available in India. Let's be honest. And it's about the environment. It's not about talent. We have all the talent here.
So what's the difference between environment and talent? Like what would environment bring?
Environment will bring scale of resources, size of ambition, size of impact. We look at in the last 1 year to get AI talent, what have company founders paid to other founders? What is that about?
They've become like overnight billionaires.
Yes. So, you know, it's a lot about talent. And then they put the money because of their funding ecosystem and now they're listed, they have stock which has value. They're able to do all this. We Indians are very focused on building product, company, but I think our ecosystem in the last 10 years improved. But still, less than 15% of the money invested in India is Indian entrepreneurs' money. 85% is still foreign money. So the Indian money needs to grow. The moment that imagine the foreign pie goes from where 85 to let's say 300. And the Indian money also goes to 300. How much money we'll have in India to fund? And that will happen. It's a matter of time. One thing is this government led by Prime Minister Modi has definitely, I mean, I'm not going to the politics, that's a different debate. But
you're talking about the person and
he has continuity in leadership has its rewards in policy, in consistency, in scale up, in relationships externally, internally. I think the overall ambition of India is big. We have to do catch up in AI, but look at what Indian government is doing in quantum mission, in drones, in satellites. You have to, look at UPI. It may be a simple thing. You look at the digital public infrastructure. So I think we have to think on scale. This government is thinking on scale. It will execute on scale. Fact is, China has made every problem into an opportunity. Right. They are saying we'll build our own products in everything. We'll build our platforms. We'll build infrastructure. We have to think a bit like China. And we have started to think a bit like China. And the beauty about India is that our consumption is domestic and our consumption is real. The demand in everything is real. In China, the Chinese banks give money in write-off. Here, if a company borrows money, they have to deliver. It only delivers this real. So I think India is, whatever anybody may say, India is just going to be better and better every day.
So you do
even with temporary bumps, even with forces that are here to destabilize India's growth, India will grow.
So you do believe in a way that this is the golden era of India?
No question about that.
And personally, आप इतने entrepreneurs से मिलते हैं. Do you see that optimism in
100%.
them also?
I mean, 100%.
But it's not like कि सिर्फ आपके अंदर या मेरे
नहीं
अंदर है,
नहीं,
it's
मैं
every-
तो आई एम शोइंग रिफ्लेक्टेड ऑप्टिमिज्म. What I see, what I hear in my environment, what I hear from people around me, what I see in various sectors, what I see from the government, private sector, public sector. I meet, in my job, I meet almost every stakeholder. I think it's a great time. Everyone is going to grow if you do basics right.
Basics से kaya. Today there is a lot of focus on branding. People are going to the extent of saying, in fact, a person walking on the road, you are a personal brand. Whether
Yes,
you
so
like it or
I'll
not.
tell you, there is value and there's...
तो
See,
आप थोड़ा सा
brand
बताइए,
is,
what is
personal brand is
branding?
what you do. अगर आप अच्छा काम करोगे तो आपको लोग ढूंढ ही लेंगे.
So it's like your reputation only.
It is a bit. But let's look at it another way. There is this California walnuts. They're branded walnuts. Like France has branded wine. Can't we brand spirituality? Because we are the center for spirituality, yoga, spirit of tolerance, spirit of oneness. I mean, let's not look at what the Prime Minister did yesterday only in terms of religion. I'm Hindu. I'm a very happy Hindu. And I'm the kind of Hindu who goes to temples, who likes all this. But fact is, what he did, Hindu religion is the most inclusive religion, is the most non-violent religion.
Most tolerant.
It is the most tolerant, and it is based on some... Fasting is scientific also, while it's faith-based. And I can go into the Sanatan philosophy. It's very, very... It may be faith-oriented, but it is very functional also in a lot of ways. And I'm not an expert on that. I'm just a seeker, right? So I think the world can learn a lot more from India. Branding is very important. And you know, I wrote a piece a couple of years back, the second year of COVID, that, you know, I saw a BBC headline or a CNN headline, 500 million doses administered, but 500 million left, half of India's. Those guys who couldn't administer 10 million doses are lecturing us that we have not only delivered 500 million. And that's how the Indian Prime Minister goes to US, UK, Europe. Sometimes he doesn't get... He's the Indian Prime Minister. He's also the most popular leader in the world, right? And India is a country that you cannot ignore
anymore.
Right? It's an important country in every aspect. In India, doing well is good for the world in every way. Don't think of it just economic terms. And wherever there is economic prosperity, sometimes it will also bring peace, all that. Because a lot of wars are about economics. Right? So, branding is important. Or outreach is important. Or communication is important. People, today we live in an era of narratives. If you're a country, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a brand, if you're a political leader, if you're a founder, narratives are very important. If you get right on the narratives, it can provide a delta.
Interesting. So how would anyone today, as a professional, or let's say I'm a lawyer working, how do we build our brands?
You first of all focus on your craft. As a lawyer, your craft has to be good. I think that's the first. If you're a practicing lawyer, you go to the court, you argue. That has to be good. You have to win cases for your clients.
The technical skill set must be good.
The delivery, whatever your primary. You know what a lot of people do is they don't focus on the primary, but they're spending so much time on building their narrative. That doesn't work. एक पंजाबी में कहावत है कि
बताइए
12 आने की मुर्गी 4 आने का मसाला, तो वो तो चलता है. बट अगर आप 4 आने का मुर्गी लोगे और 12 आने का मसाला लोगे, मतलब आप भुट्टा भी कह सकते हो if you're vegetarian, like my father is, right? So point is, there has to be first substance. Then is the layers of adding visibility, brand, and brand does get you premium. Familiarity and standing for certain values, and then communicate. So brand is about functional attributes, but it's a lot more about what does it stand for, what does it doesn't do. So first focus on your whatever area of excellence, then focus on outreach. So you can write books, you can do podcasts, but अभी मेरे कुक और ड्राइवर को छोड़ के सब पॉडकास्ट कर रहे हैं, तो कितने पॉडकास्ट करोगे आप? ठीक है. I should have done a podcast 10 years. I had access to everything. I didn't do, I missed the bus. I think about it. ठीक है, but मैं कुछ differentiated कर रहा हूँ, the dropout. वो मस्ती के लिए कर रहा हूँ मैं, ठीक है. So I think contribute to the communities you're part of, mentor people, write, pursue knowledge if you're in a knowledge domain.
Yeah.
I think over a period of time you build a brand. And a brand built on solidity and organic way lasts longer, is more authentic.
So other than building your own skill set and delivery, for any professional, for a lawyer, let's say doctor, someone in advertisement, you build your craft. What next? Like what tangible steps one can take?
See, suppose you're a lawyer, can you write columns for a newspaper, magazine, website? Can you go to conferences? So on and so forth. These add. But first you got to get your law.
Yeah. The basics in place.
Basics in place. You can write a book. So if you're an expert in, let's say, dispute resolution or in mediation, or if you're an M&A expert, or if you know a health tech sector best, you write a book on health tech or write column. Over a period of time, people will know that. Or if you're good in NCLT or you're good in, say, matrimonial issues. I mean, I'm talking on law and so what are you known for? So, build on that. Rohan Batra should be equal to that. So it will happen with consistency and there's power of compounding, Rohan, you know that.
How did you build your brand?
I don't know. Can I tell you, funnily enough, I never think about building a brand.
This is the biggest irony.
नहीं, because मैं काम करता रहता हूँ. मेरा है कि काम करता रहो तो ब्रांड बिल्ड हो जाएगी. जबकि मेरे बच्चे बोलते हैं मैं खुद अपना सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट करता हूँ. Why do you have it? But I do it mostly myself, not all. So I've never focused on it. People reach out to me, we can help you do LinkedIn. I have posted on LinkedIn myself. So I said build karo, but maybe I've been too busy building businesses. That's why I believe. That's why I believe अपना कोर कर. मेरे पास मीडिया के लिए भी एडवाइस के लिए आते हैं, तो मैं उनको बोलता हूँ 2 काम करो. एक तो अपना काम धंधा अच्छा करो, दूसरा नॉन एक्सपेक्टेशन मीटिंग्स करो, जिसको लोग बोलते हैं रिलेशनशिप बिल्डिंग मीटिंग, RBM. राइट, आके 2-4 बार मिलो, तब मत मिलो जब कुछ चाहिए. और डोंट एक्सपेक्ट एनीथिंग. Expect good human interaction, you knowing the person well, that person knowing, and stay in the play. Don't be transactional. I keep saying, Rohan, या तो संबंध है या सब बंद है.
तो संबंध पे फोकस करें,
जेन्युइन होने पे फोकस करें, संबंध बन जाएगा.
So हमारी values basically जो आप बता रहे हैं we should be genuine, sincere, willing to serve people and keep doing the work. Automatically ये चीजें अपने आप आ जाती हैं over a period of time through compounding, etc. आप खुद भी इतने साल you've been an entrepreneur, you've met so many of them. कोई top qualities आपने notice की?
First is good follow up. Second is, as I'm growing older, the ability to say no to things, being more discerning on where you put your time, and being persistent and dogged. People will laugh you with ideas. Sometimes you'll struggle. Don't lose hope in yourself. If you don't lose hope, someday you'll figure it out. But the ability to be very narrow, like
laser focused, uni-focused, not on many things.
Yeah, a lot of people say, multitasking is good. I think do one thing at a time, be mindful, give it your 100%. I keep saying partial attention is wasted attention. It's again not authentic. Scott D. Clary said it. I'm just sharing it with you. So I really believe it. And when I was younger, I used to do multitasking.
In fact, I heard someone say in one of the podcasts that one mentor asked the mentee to write down their goals. And that mentee beautifully wrote down 10 goals. And he said, you just got to pick one. तो उसने पूछा भाई क्यों? I need personal life के भी, health के भी. He said that according to me, the remaining 9 are just ways to make you average. So just focus on one goal at a time, finish that and then move on to the other.
No, they can be a health goal, work goal, family goal. They can be separate, but I understand. Focus on one thing.
So, okay. Focus on one thing. What else?
Then is build relationships, genuine relationships. It'll happen if you are sincere in the way you deal. And don't worry. When I was younger, I used to worry about what people say. People come from their sphere of
their background,
their baggage, their understanding, their not knowing enough. So don't.
And when you came in, Anurag ji, I felt a sense of urgency. And आपने एक word भी use किया था, momentum. You think a momentum is also required, or sense of urgency for an entrepreneur?
Yeah, sense of, I think stepping back is more important. Stepping back and, of course, momentum in business is always important in any initiative. But I think the preparation, as I'm growing older, the preparation for that momentum is more important.
Like
Your
कोई
preparation,
example देंगे थोड़ा
like
समझ-
I keep thinking about events and I think about rehearsals much more. I think about planning much more, because we've done it like, it's in our DNA. We can create an event in 2 days, right? We have the relationships, team, infrastructure. But I think of things like, I think I'm on the Emmy board. The Emmys happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Last 2 years I've been doing the Emmy judging in India. I mean, like, we do all that, but the way they do it, they like make simple things like look like extraordinary because of just the laser sharp focus, packaging, detailing, rehearsal, saying no to a lot of things, and being really, really, really anal about the process. Process is the key. I'm very spontaneous, but I think I'm becoming more and more process oriented.
Wow. And 3 or 4 mistakes that entrepreneurs should avoid. हो गई तो हो गई, but
देखिए अब ऐसा क्या है कि ये सब कहना पॉडकास्ट में बहुत अच्छा लगता है, बट आई विल टेल यू, फर्स्ट इज focus on the basics. Don't go for branding, marketing. This. Pehle get your basics right. Second, have a good mentor board. These are things to do. What one should avoid is, as I said, don't start a business which requires 10 crores with 3 crores. You know, just to say, or 100. Because the scale of things has changed. Second is, team is very important. And third is, know what not to do. In your business, leave out what you shouldn't do.
Very important. उसके लिए जैसे आपने बोला एक सेंस ऑफ डिसर्नमेंट या जजमेंट आनी चाहिए.
And आएगी थोड़े टाइम बाद. Some things come by doing, by learning, by experiencing first, right? Some come by discipline, some come by failure, some come by success. So, you know, it's...
कोई आपका pet formula भी है for like decision making? Because I overheard you say on the phone that think, do 2030, do 2030. So was that some formula?
No, that is... there is an event that we know for 2 weeks somebody is doing, we're helping. I had to get some 20 member of parliament into it. So she's got only 2. So
Okay.
I think...
I thought maybe that's a formula.
No, but definitely I'll tell you a formula that is the formula which I call the 3H formula.
3H.
First is humility.
Humility.
Because we live in a collaborative work. People, if you're humble, I respond to call, text, whether I know people or not. So humility is most important. Second is hard work. Whatever you focus on grows. Third, which is the most important for an entrepreneur, is the hope. Every day you have to hope for that you will figure out what you couldn't figure out yesterday. If you have that hope capital, I wrote this column called Introduction Capital 12-15 years back. The introductions. I've done many introductions of very big people with very big people. So, you know, hope is the most important thing. So don't be delusional. If you're married anyway, you'll have a reality check, but don't be delusional, but have hope. Because जिस दिन आप hope छोड़ देते हैं ना, तो फिर सब कुछ, it doesn't matter how smart you are, how well. If you're dogged and stay in it and evaluate yourself and your beliefs and be ready to change your beliefs when you provided with some detailing, data, some proof that what you are thinking is not right. Ultimately, it's not about being right. It's about finding the right way.
So and making it work along the way also.
Yes. A lot of times in my case, I don't know the answer. I walk the way. Again, they sound cliched, but as you walk, the path appears. You know, it has happened.
I've heard some entrepreneurs say that don't worry about taking the right decision, make the decision right.
Absolutely. And you learn, देखो, decision नहीं लेने में से ज़्यादा नुकसान होता है.
अच्छा ना लेने, which is indecision basically.
लेकिन कई बार they say not taking a decision is also a decision. अब ये सब ना अंग्रेजी के they don't. कल I met somebody in Bombay. I said you will not use 2 words with me, trauma and toxic. यार हमारे मतलब हम भी तो बड़े हुए. ये trauma क्या होता है, toxic क्या होता है, मतलब what is toxic यार, मतलब I mean I know what is toxic. Like the air is toxic, that I'm sure of.
But today food is also, people are also.
But people का तो मैं नहीं, I don't, देखो people पहले भी ऐसे थे, लेकिन क्या हो गया अभी थोड़ा सा materialistic world ज़्यादा हो गया है. Access to everything is easy. To people, to money, to things. पहले कुछ चाहिए था, मम्मी पापा को बोलना पड़ता था, दादा दादी को बोलना पड़ता था, सर्वेंट को बोलना पड़ता था. अभी क्या करना है साला, ऑर्डर करना, पैसे ही तो चाहिए. तो जो ये एक्सेस टू एवरीथिंग इज सो इजी ना. व्हाई रिलेशनशिप्स क्रम्बलिंग? बिकॉज एक्सेस टू अदर रिलेशनशिप्स इज सो इजी. सो अनलेस until you have discipline, like you can be awake all night because you can just keep watching reels. So will you prioritize your sleep over watching? I mean, I love watching movies. I don't rarely साल में 2-4 देख पाता हूँ फ्लाइट पे या एक आध बार सिनेमा में, because I want to sleep. So it's about priorities, it's about trade-offs. Life is a trade-off.
काफी लोगों को सुन के अच्छा नहीं लगेगा because they believe trade-off means sacrificing.
बिना sacrifice के कुछ नहीं होता लाइफ में, होता नहीं है ये.
एक
But I tell you, last night I was listening to this song. I really believe in. I was listening to "Sacrifice" by Elton John just before I slept. In life is about sacrifice. You have to sacrifice some things to get something. You can't have it all. Not in a bad way, say in a good way.
I know.
मैं अगर आपके साथ यहाँ बैठा हूँ तो मैं ऑफिस में नहीं बैठा ना, तो ये राइट, या तो मैं रात में 2 और शोज देख सकता हूँ, या मैं टाइम पे सो सकता हूँ और सवेरे उठ के अपने काम कर सकता हूँ, या मैं वॉक पे जा सकता हूँ, या मैं मोटा रहूंगा. तो यू नो इट्स अ सैक्रिफाइस. You will have to, in a good way, I'm not saying in a bad way, not, you know, but it's a trade-off. It's that much is the time. Where do you want to focus your time and attention on? You can meet 1,000 people. What do you, I mean, I read this thing by Scott T. Clary. He said, I met 2 people. And I don't believe in cliches, you know, but a lot of things he says I practice subconsciously, right? And some of the things he says, I know they're right, but I'm not doing it right. So I want to do those right. He said, I met 2 people, one who'd read 200 books in a year and a person who had not read. So the person who had read 200 books in a year had not built any business, but he built $3 billion business. So it's about what you read in the books and apply. So application is everything. क्या फायदा किताब पढ़ने का? इसलिए मैं और किताब में मुझे it's interesting storytelling. I love it. I'm reading some books on AI.
And you're entertaining our mind.
Yeah, but reading is good. Maybe, you know, I picked your book right up, you know. I just picked up this Karen Ho book on Empire of AI. I mean, it's eye-opening. It's great. So I'm enjoying the storytelling. And there's new stuff I'm learning. But when I buy self-help books, and I buy a lot of them, and I bought every that you can think of, because I love reading them. And I want to do something in the mental health space. So that's my, you know, something it's been on my mind for a while. And but the fact is, application is very important.
That's key. That's the difference between planning and execution. तो अब आपका, what is your plan for the next 20 years?
यार देखिए, अभी बड़ा फनी क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो. मैं सोचता हूँ आजकल, while I want to live day by day, because कल का किसको पता है, लेकिन भगवान करे 20 साल मिले. I want to spend more time with my family. I want to complete my responsibilities, take my current ventures to logical conclusions. अभी बहुत work in progress है. बहुत सारी अनफिनिश्ड चीजें वो करनी है. वो ज़्यादा नहीं सोच रहा हूँ. और अपने बच्चों के साथ जितना भी टाइम, बड़े हो गए हैं, उनके पास समय कम होता है, उनके साथ समय बिताऊँ. बीवी के साथ समय बिताऊँ. मेरे डैड 86 हो जाएंगे, उनके साथ समय. किताबें लिखना चाहता हूँ, वो एक. So that's the only other thing which I have a tangible thing. 10-15 साल से मैंने बहुत किताबों के नोट लिखेंगी, इस पे लिखनी, उसने लिखी नहीं है मैंने. और मैं किसी से लिखवाऊंगा नहीं कि घोस्ट राइटिंग कराऊंगा. मैं खुद लिखना चाहता हूँ. तो ये है, ज़्यादा नहीं सोचता हूँ.
आई नो आपने बीच में काफ़ी बार स्पिरिचुअलिटी, गॉड के बारे में बात किया. सो इन योर एंटायर 25 years of journey as an entrepreneur, where do you think some events happened which through
No, I
logic
totally
you
believe
couldn't
in.
explain?
I'll tell you, God helps me a lot. I will leave it at that. Maybe I'll do another one conversation someday. Tell you, but God helps me a lot. Maybe it's my parents' blessing, my older sister's blessing, my wife's good karma. You know, I ask this question at conferences: how many of you feel you're successful? Why are you successful? People give this logical: we work hard, blah, 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 blah. And I said, you're successful because parents did sukarma. माँ बाप के सुकर्म, तुम्हारे दादा दादी के, नाना नानी के, people who are associated with you, सबका कर्म इकट्ठा हो जाता है. So be humble, take your success lightly. I'm not saying not be grateful for it, and from a work standpoint, take it seriously. But wear it lightly.
ऐसा कोई एक एग्जाम्पल आप शेयर करना चाहेंगे जो आपकी लाइफ में where you felt this was the hand of God?
God ने बहुत बार बताया. मैं I'll tell you in some time. I'll tell you very honest thing next time. Definitely. Really dramatic and honest.
नहीं, that's great. एक last advice before we end today's episode. Someone who wants to start their business, and I know आपने इसमें already बोल दिया, in 2025, media, non-media, let's say limited resources के पास, he doesn't have 10 crores, he or she doesn't have 10 crores, खुद में बस विश्वास है. How should that person start?
First is think of basics. Today, starting a business is very easy. There are incubators, accelerators, funding competition, pitch competition. So I don't think business can. क्या है कि go meet people first, get started, keep taking advice and keep implementing it, whatever you or she think is okay. Fourth is be ready to change your mind. Somebody बोल रहा है कि नहीं चलेगा, मैं नहीं कर रहा था. अब किसी को कोई फेसबुक वाले को बोलता मार्क ज़करबर्ग को नहीं चलेगा तो see, I always say these days you don't even know what you don't know. You know, there are things you know, there are things you know you don't know. There are things you don't know, and different ventures are, some ventures are absolute new paradigm, new products, new ideas, new services. Some are about new ways of doing existing things. So try it out, you'll know, because even if you don't succeed, you'll learn something which will eventually make you successful. पुराना आटे दाल का भाव पता लग जाता है जब आप एंटरप्रेन्योर होते हो. मैंने देखा बहुत सारे एम्प्लॉयज थे वो डिफरेंटली सोचते थे, जब एंटरप्रेन्योर बन गए वो डिफरेंटली सोचते हैं और वो ज़्यादा एम्पैथाइज करते हैं एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के साथ. तो करके देखो, गो आउट, मीट पीपल, रेज कैपिटल, डू इट बूटस्ट्रैप, get it going. Once you get it going, you're in the play, you'll find ways. Either you'll be successful or you'll learn something which will eventually make you successful. And be brutally honest with yourself of what's working, what's not working, why it's not working. Have an honest mentor who also supports you but also gives you good advice.
Tells you to your face कि भाई ये नहीं चल रहा.
And you have to, as I grow older, I've learned to say things. How you say is equally important. Earlier I was a little more direct. I'm still very honest, but I try to give it in a way that they'll
land it well.
Yeah, it'll be more receptiveness.
बस हमारा एक लास्ट सेक्शन होता है रैपिड फायर, जस्ट 3-4 क्वेश्चंस. द रूल इज व्हाटएवर कम्स ऑन द टॉप ऑफ योर माइंड आप बताइए. वन हैबिट दैट चेंज योर लाइफ.
Communication.
Wow.
Being responsive to people. Underrated. I respond to calls, emails, texts, and I have a big volume. I think it's just being responsive, being in the play.
One book that you would recommend every professional entrepreneur to read.
Hard Things About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz.
It's a good book. One thing you're still learning.
How to say no to many things and many people. I'm getting better. And
one marketing mistake people make, they should avoid.
You also have to have third-party endorsement. What does mean as third-party endorsement? So third-party endorsement is equivalent of word of mouth. I mean, anything you buy on Amazon, you first do a review, right? I mean, broadly.
Yeah, of course.
So you have to, if you're in marketing, I've learned that you got to market yourself today. I've been thinking about it in a different context last 10, 12 days. I've never marketed myself. No, just focus on what.
By the way, that's a way of marketing, people say also.
No, but मैंने सच्ची में
marketing.
मैंने ऐसे I may have showed up for conferences, this, that, but मैंने, I mean, with the resources I have and I could have, hindsight में सोचता मैं ये भी करता वो भी, ठीक है, it's okay.
एक open-ended question, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे जो आपके मन में है?
And मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि, I read this book called Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. Spend time with your loved ones, with the parents. Abhi aajkal people are so achievement focused now. They leave their brother's wedding to attend a conference and speak. I'm exaggerating. Nobody I know has left a brother's wedding to speak at a
It
conference.
drives the point home.
Yeah. You're too focused on external achievement. Be focused on your family, your habits. Be focused on relationships. Don't be transactional. That's what don't be transactional. Be genuine. ये नहीं कि जिससे भी मिले कल मॉर्निंग में उससे कुछ चाहिए.
Yeah.
कुछ मिल जाए ठीक है, जो लिखा है तो मिलेगा. And I'm not saying don't have transactions. If you like people, you collaborate with them, work with them. That's what I'd like to say. Focus a lot on your family. Spend time with your loved ones, brother, sister, husband, wife, children, parents, mama, masi. I remember मेरे मौसा जी को I think 5 साल हो गए death. Is the relative who gave me most love. So I started 7-8 years back. I told myself every Sunday I'll go to one relative of mine and meet them, and I'm very focused on my work. And of course I see my parents. And so I started doing it. Luckily, I could for 1-2 years meet my Mausaji more often. Some relatives I didn't meet, they passed away. I mean, it's not just about making money, being more famous, doing one more. It is equally important. I last 5-7 years I spent time with my children. I wish I'd spent more time with my children when they were younger. I definitely feel I should have spent more time with my mom. Even when she came from the hospital, I was working. I would see her twice, thrice in the day, pop up in her room. But, spend time with your loved ones. And if you're more centered and loved now, you'll also do better.
That's a beautiful thing.
If you're more loved, centered, you'll always do better. I do better when there's more calm in my home. That calmness, if my wife's happy, my children are okay, I do better.
You carry that energy to your workplace.
Yes. If I for some reason she's not well or whatever, it impacts me. So being loud, being centered, having peace will help you. But if you have a goal, give it all you got. Life is a trade-off. And focus on health. That's what I'd say. These are basic things. But too much focus on achievement. Too much. Too much, I shouldn't be saying it, but achievement is good. Not, one should pursue your dreams in the right way.
But you've seen over the years that हर एक चीज की अपनी value भी है.
I can't talk. Everyone has their unique life, their rules. But since you asked me, this is what I feel. And sometimes I'm telling myself these things. I post a lot, much lesser than. And that's for myself. That's not for anyone else. Sometimes the quotes are for myself. I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Right? It's because I like that and it resonates. Some things I do. I read The Secret. I do some of the things very, very, 20 years back, very, very subconsciously. Somebody told me 10, 12, 14 years back, attend Rahul Jain's. He's very good. The best person. But after 2 hours said, I know all this. I follow all this instantly. I hired an EA 24 years back. Within the first 1 year of, I delegate.
And that's the first thing he says. Get an EA, get a personal
he's very good. He's one of the people I met who's very good in almost every aspect I can think of.
Definitely. He's
good as a person, though I don't meet him often. And today I'm reminded of him. So maybe I'll text him and call him. So, a lot of things you do subconsciously.
Yeah.
Rest you learn from other people do. हार मत मारना. हार होती नहीं कोई चीज. Got to keep moving. Got to keep hope. Not be fearful. बीवी से डरो. Don't be God fearing. Be God loving. That's what I'd say.
Wow. Thank you so much, Annurag ji, for coming to Beyond Billables. We wish you, your entire family and business world a huge success.
And exchange for media also.
And exchange for media as well.
Thank you so much, Rohan.
Thank you
Good to meet you and your family.
Thank you so much.